Okay, we're here.
Evening. Yes,
Hello.
we're live. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the couch. This is Damien.
The studio.
Yes, the studio.
We have to fix that every time.
We're back to back now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Back to back in studio here with Miss Jackie, my co-host, the beautiful, the lovely,
Yes.
the energetic.
Okay,
all
thank
of
you.
those things.
You always make me blush when you do that. Thank you. Okay.
Now, I'm bringing a smile.
I mean, I appreciate that. Okay,
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
good. Okay,
Absolutely.
move on.
And today we have a very special guest, Miss
Thank you.
Juanetta Covington.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for joining us.
This is where the
Definitely.
sounds would come in. If
I
we
know,
had a
right?
sound
We need
machine,
the soundboard.
we're not up
It's
there
coming.
yet.
It's coming.
Oh yeah.
It's in the budget.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We got to put it in the
All
budget.
right. Oh, we
It's
got to
coming.
speak it out.
Yes, definitely. So again, welcome to the couch, guys. This week we're continuing to discuss domestic violence as we have been doing the last several weeks. And I think we wanted to kind of end this particular segment and bring in Miss Covington because she's, like I said on a previous post, that she's a very huge advocate out here in the community in regards to
Do that every time.
domestic violence and intimate partner violence,
Yes.
and representing for survivors, children,
Yes.
our teens out here that are definitely dealing with some of these issues. That's a worldwide problem, really.
Exactly.
But more specifically here in the Charlotte area, where I was just told that we were
Number one.
Number one.
Charlotte's region is number one for human trafficking.
Wow.
What?
Yes.
Charlotte
I was
How am I just
amazed.
finding out about this?
Yes.
I read it somewhere, but she brought it back to my memory
Almost
bank.
ashamed as a
Definitely.
therapist not to know that. But
Yes.
where are they talking about this? I mean, not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
where is this being talked about?
And to me, it's not being brought up as much as it should be. It's not being open or discussed as much as it should be. They're getting these girls as young as 13 years old. And once they get them, of course, they just pimp them out. Human trafficking is an upscale form of prostitution. And what actually happens is that they are transporting them from here and there. And we're so accessible because of the highways that, it's the kids. And it's so sad when you see a child whose innocence has been stripped from them.
Right.
Because of being trafficked.
Has this been on the news? Like, are there specific places in the city that things have been discovered? I mean, obviously things have been discovered if they're able to put the label that this is the number one place. So can you tell us about that, or do you know anything about that? Because I'm interested.
Yeah, they were speaking in terms of on Sugar Creek. Why
is that believable?
Exactly. Wow. You have the hotels. There, and you have access to the highways. You can get to Atlanta, New York. You can do these things and traffic these kids out. So, and I was mentoring a young lady that was trafficked out, and she was 15. And you just saw it. And as a mother, that hurt your heart. It ripped my heart to the core to see this child crying for something that she didn't do. And she felt it was her fault because she let this person coerce her into thinking, okay, well, this is right and this is right, but it's not right at all.
Wow.
At all.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need
So-
to do a whole segment on
That's a whole segment
No, but I'm interested.
series.
Jeez.
But
And they get little boys too, so I'm put that out there.
Wow. So these are kids that are coming from other cities and states and then being kidnapped and brought here.
And here, some kids are here and being trafficked. We used to go downtown on Thursdays to try to help, spread the awareness about it.
Yes.
But you can see it. You can see these young girls. You can see these older men coming up and talking to these girls.
Right.
And when a girl is looking for someone to fill that void,
Sure.
and he is telling her, this is going to happen. I'm going to get you this. I'm going to get you that.
Right.
And the way society is now, if you don't look a certain way, then of course you're not labeled as pretty or you're not
Right.
So it's just so sad. It's like we have to go back to the grassroots and help these kids know their worth and their value as a young lady.
Right. So is the stats that you're getting, is it for adults as well? Because I've always heard, especially here, that this is kind of like a meeting spot for the North as well as the South as far as the human trafficking is concerned.
Yes. Yeah.
And so now it's more so spilling over into the younger
our
kids.
teens,
Wow.
our babies.
Wow.
And like I said, with society and social media, you see so much. And if you're not a size 10 or a size 5 or you're not this or not that,
Right.
then you're deemed, okay, you're not this and that. But when a man comes up to you and in your mind, you're still a child, but he's telling you these things that he can get for you and keep you within
It's appealing.
Yes.
So let me bring us back to the beginning because we didn't really get into a good introduction of who she is. So I mean, because we jump right in there. We just get where we finish. I know, but my job here is I just keep us a little more, structured. Okay, we need to get back to who our special guest is.
Right.
We got to let the people know, right? Because they don't know. They're just like, she looks nice. Who is she? Well spoken. Let's move that. There we go.
Yes.
So can you tell us what you do, what your area of expertise is, and what brought you to this line of work?
Well, I'm Juanetta Covington, and I am a survivor of domestic violence. So, having said that, when I used to not speak about it, and because of the guilt and shame and the condemnation that sat with it, so the more I tried not to talk about it, the more God came to me in my dreams. And He said, what you're trying to hide, I need to use to save lives. Wow. And so, from that point, my mouth hadn't shut since then. So coming from that realm of being a survivor of domestic violence, I went and got trained in it. Okay. Then I got trained in sexual assault because it falls under the same umbrella. Then I got trained in human trafficking. Then I got trained in suicide. And
do we need more training?
Of course. You can
That's for another show.
Yeah.
I feel like I need more training.
And then I got trained into mentoring, and teen dating violence. So, yeah. And now I just got certified, so I'm a certified life coach.
Well, that's good to know because we may need you to refer some of our own clients for the same type of issues. Can you talk more about the last certification you received and why that was important?
The one with to become a life coach?
Yes.
Because so many persons are dealing with things internally, and they don't know how to exit that.
Right.
So when you come into this person and you allow them to be transparent and you're not passing judgment, then they allow you in. And so you're kind of coaching them along. Okay, I'm with you. I support you. I'm your cheerleader. We can do this together, but I'm in your corner to help you.
Wow.
Because, a lot of times people find, I'm speaking in terms of self, I didn't have support. When I went through the domestic violence, I didn't have anyone to walk with me or any of that. So I gained strength out of that.
Okay.
And, I dare not keep my mouth shut because it's going on every day.
Right.
Every day. And the number is 1 in 4.
Wow. That's a big number. 25%. That experience it.
And these are the persons that just report
it. That's what I'm saying.
These are not the persons.
The ones that are comfortable enough to say something.
Right. Exactly.
I think most do not. They don't. For what we talked about last week, I don't know if you were able to see it or view it, but basically last week we talked about why people don't say anything about experiencing domestic violence, and then we have been discussing for 2 weeks the broad spectrum of what domestic violence entails and how it's not just putting your hands on someone, how it's instilling fear and utilizing manipulation to instill fear in different ways, and just kind of wanting to educate our population of viewers on that, because that's honestly something I didn't really know until just recently, I guess in the past couple of years. Didn't really realize that was included in domestic violence.
Exactly. Because domestic violence goes much deeper than physical. When you have that mental piece, when someone is being beat with the same stick of defeat, you're not this, you're not that, the more you keep hearing that, the more you start believing that.
Exactly.
And once you start believing those things about you, then what do you have? Everything is stripped away from you as an individual, because he said no one will love me, and he's right. He says on this, and he's right. Or she says this, because men can be
absolutely
assaulted as well. So it's not just women.
Well.
Yes, we discussed that. Damien made sure that we touched on
that. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah,
we are verbally and physically assaulted on a regular basis as well.
The examples you used were just...
What did I use, Jackie?
Extra.
What did I say?
He said women keying cars, and he was talking about women doing all this. I had to touch you.
See, you touched me. You're in my personal space.
He said that last time.
Did
you have to touch me? That's what happens. Okay, we're talking about taunting, right?
You're in my bubble.
So, you have a question for her.
So, I was just sitting back listening to experience and how you got into it.
Yeah, I feel like we need to go off the grid.
What do you feel like? What's that feeling that you have when you're working with this individual, or this family, or this group of young women, or women in general? What is that emotion? What does it feel like? Or is it satisfying to you? Are you having that sense of like you're giving back? Or is it like a sense of purpose for you? What is that emotion that's tied along with what you do?
So there are a number of emotions that's tied, because had I not experienced it, I wouldn't know how to talk directly about it.
Right.
And I tell them, every tear that has fallen from their eyes have fallen from mine. That fear, your knees buckling because you think that this man is going to hit you again. Or you hear something in the kitchen and you just jump. So I tell them and I let them know it's okay to have those feelings. You know, you will never get over it. You learn how to live with it. And the more you talk about it, your healing takes place. Right. And so that's why I talk about it. I share my story and I become transparent to let them know here stands a lady that lived through it. Right. That actually had a gun to her head and he actually pulled the trigger. You know, and they said, well, how did you escape? I escaped by the grace of God, and that's the honest truth. Because after he pulled the trigger and he cursed because it didn't go off. Let me back up. If a man or a lady tells you that if you leave, I will kill you, do not take those words lightly. Right. I took them lightly because I was like, surely he's not going to do this. He loves me.
Right. Surely
he wouldn't do
That's
this.
The instinctual almost response.
Exactly. And your mind is changing gears so much. You're like, well, what did I do? You know, you start feeling bad because I could have done something better. Right. But in actuality, the person that abuses is the ones that wanted to abuse. So getting back to that, getting out of that situation, it took a while. And statistics say it takes an individual 7 to 10 times to leave an abusive relationship. Okay. So that can be a number of months, years. Because you hear ladies been in an abusive relationship for 20-something years. And people pass judgment on that and see they don't understand that. Right. Yeah, she's there and she's getting abused and this is happening, that's happening. But you don't know what it is that's keeping her tied to that man. That could be the first man she's ever been intimate with. That can be the father of the children. He can be the sole financial provider. And if she leaves, what am I going to do?
We touched on that too. The things that stop people from leaving.
Right. And financial is one of those top ones of not feeling like you have that support. Exactly. Natural supports as well as community supports. Exactly. To be able to provide for yourself, and if you got children, your children as well. Because if he's the main breadwinner or she's the main breadwinner and you leave, then you're
what
leaving.
What are you going to do?
Exactly. So that definitely binds a lot of victims into that situation. For you, what was that light bulb moment for you? Like, when did it go off? Like, okay, like enough is enough. Like, I'm leaving, and this is it.
And you know, with me, the first time I was in an abusive relationship, it happens twice. Okay. And the second time is because I let my guards down because we went to high school together. Okay. And I was like, well, surely, you know, we have this history. So he knows what I've been through. He used to hear me speak. You know, he was there when just everything. That's not it. You know, and a lot of times when a man is insecure with himself, he takes it out on her. Just like when a woman's insecure with herself, she takes it out on him. Right. So the roles are just reversed.
So we talked about that, and then I want you to definitely finish. We talked about that last week. I mentioned on the segment that I had a college boyfriend who I was with for years. And I was telling Damien that he later told me, now in our later adult years, we are good friends. The one time that I kind of got in his face, he told me after that he had wanted to put his hands on me. And when he felt like he wanted to do that, he knew he needed to completely be away from me. Exactly. So we broke up just because he was, well, number one, strong enough to do that. But 10 years later, 12 years later, told me I was extremely insecure. And I played off your emotions and manipulated because I was feeling weak. And I felt like you were so this and you were so that. And you might have found someone else because he was in a different city than me. Yes. But I never looked at it that way. To me, it was just affection, strong affection and history of growing up around someone and their parents knowing your parents and thinking they have your best interest by default.
Right.
And that is a lie that we tell ourselves to be comfortable. And so when you're saying that, I'm more so glad that he at least had enough about him to step away from me in his early 20s and say, this is not good. Even though there was years worth of history.
Right.
But that is how it starts.
Exactly.
Sure. And I was holding on to it.
Absolutely. You know, and when you're dealing with someone that's abusive, it doesn't start out that way. What this person is going to do is I say you go to your honeymoon stage first. He or she's going to show you, oh, I'm this, I love you, I'm this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden, things change. You feel tension. You feel something in your gut that lets you know something isn't right, but you can't really put your finger on
what
it.
it is.
You know exactly that something is not right. So you have the blow-up moments, the tension building.
Right.
And then after the tension building, you're walking on eggshells, and just any little thing can tick this person off. So you're really seeing the core of this person's heart.
Right.
So the next phase is the explosions phase. And the explosion phase is when the actual physical abuse takes place. Okay. So there are signs before the physical abuse takes place. And what I did, I just ignored those signs. Because I'm saying, I'm a good woman, I'm this, I'm that. He can't hurt me or harm me. But lo and behold, it's not even about you, it's about that person that wants to abuse. And if you know, a lot of times abusers have past histories of abuse. And it's a known fact. It's a known fact that when the men are abusers, it's because they witnessed it, just like the kids.
Right.
But you know, a man is not going to let a woman hit him, and he's not going to let a woman disrespect him.
Right.
And you know, domestic violence is a learned behavior, so it's something that's taught. When you see it, when you're in a home and you hear it, and like I tell ladies, every shut eye ain't sleep. Because they say, well, he didn't hear me, my baby didn't hear me, my child didn't hear me, because he was asleep.
Did you say every shut eye ain't sleep?
Yep.
That is deep.
And I know that's not good English, but...
No, I like it. No. I live in North Carolina now. Shame on anybody who has anything to say about that. That's the good words are usually a little more non-correct.
Yeah.
I like that.
Every shut eye ain't sleep. And I tell them that. And when you hear this woman talk, and her child is there, and they're playing while you're talking or interviewing, and then that child will say, I know, Mama, I heard it. I heard you crying. I heard him cuss. And these women don't even know that child heard them, because that child is in the bed, covers over his head, hands over his ears, and hearing his mom or her mom getting beat. You know, and so what example are we truly setting? Are you allowing them to know or make them feel like it's okay to be in an abusive relationship because you choose to stay with this person?
Right.
Now, we know love is a powerful thing, but your life is worth more than anything. And so, you know, that's why I try to instill in these teenage girls that's going through these abusive relationships, these unhealthy relationships. And I let them know, honey, that's not the way. Right. You know, and when you come old school with them, they respect you.
I was going to say, do you get a good reception? Yeah. That's what I want to know.
All the time.
Because I don't, you know, specialize in abuse or anything like that. I mean, as therapists, we know our specialty, and we don't delve heavily into one arena. We, you know what I'm saying? We refer them somewhere where they need to be, right?
Like a general practitioner, like your primary care physician. They have knowledge on all bases, but they don't specialize in one particular thing.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes.
So when you're dealing with trauma, and that's what it is, the ramifications of that, then we have to dive deep into it. And that's what I was telling you a little bit earlier before we started the show, as far as becoming certified in trauma-focused type of therapy, because that's just an interest of mine in how people respond in traumatic situations.
Exactly.
And the mental and psychological impact that it does have.
Yes.
Over time.
And it stays with you.
Yes.
Because with me, you know, I didn't know that I was dealing with PTSD and depression. But after the incident with domestic violence, I tried to commit suicide. And a lot of people don't understand that you don't want to kill yourself, but you just want the pain to stop.
Exactly.
And I kept saying it was my fault, the guilt that was on me. I mean, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror because this man was saying how ugly I was, how this and how that. But in actuality, you have to pull yourself up out of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to say, I'm this, I'm that. I'm not that what he said I was, or I'm not that what she said I was.
Mm-hmm.
Those things. But if you don't have that peace inside of you to reach down into you and pull yourself up, then a lot of times that's the end result.
And what tends to happen a lot is that people in that particular situation, when you don't have the supports, because one, you've isolated yourself from those supports if you had them initially,
and he's done it too. He's helped you become isolated from everybody. Yeah.
So that was grooming.
Yeah.
Right. So knowing that, it takes that light bulb moment. It takes you actually becoming self-aware and strong to pull yourself out of that. What do you say to people that can't seem to find that strength, or because they've been dealing with it for so long, like
and
mentally
they
just don't know who they are because they've been a shadow of this particular person or shell themselves for 10, 15, 20 years. What do you tell those particular people that can't find to muster up that strength to get out of that situation?
And you know what I do is tell them, have a moment, just step back. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes a day. You step back and encourage yourself.
Right.
You look at yourself in the mirror and you said, I'm worthy of life.
Right.
Positive
I deserve to live. I didn't deserve that. I went through it, but that doesn't determine who I am. And you know, when you give them those positive reinforcing words that they haven't really heard for years, or maybe not have heard, they're like, wow, you're right. You know, when I get phone calls, because I never turn my phone off, when I get phone calls from these ladies and they just call, and on the end you hear them wailing, they're crying, and they're weeping. When you hear that, when I hear it, I said, I'm here, and you take as long as you need.
You're just there in order to supply the airway of the listening ear.
And like I said, you can't be judgmental. That is what really pushes a person away, and really makes them go back to be with that person. Right. Because they think that that's love, you know. And so many women don't know their worth because they haven't been taught.
So you're kind of like the teacher. You take on a teacher role.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that.
I never thought about that.
Well, you are. And I guess in many ways we all are, right? But you really are the teacher. And if you had a little quote unquote like tag name or something they knew you by, a little nickname, that I would think that would come first.
Right.
The teacher.
Wow. I never thought about that.
Of all things related to those arenas. I mean, you can bottle it all up in one. Domestic violence. When it comes to that, you are the teacher for adolescent girls and whoever else. I mean, older women who never went through the process of being taught by a grown woman what to look for, how to avoid, and how not to wind up in these type of situations. But that immediately comes to mind, like, oh, we met with the teacher today, and we're taught, because this is a lesson.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you know, we have to give back. I believe in my heart that we go through in order to help somebody get through. And I'm a firm believer of that. You know, and God just told me that, so thank you. But I'm just saying we go through for someone else.
Well, Damien, whether you thought about it or not, that's part of the foundation of why you wanted to kind of start this, is because you have experience.
And I commend you on it. And I'm glad that you reached out to me. I wholeheartedly support you. And this is big because so many persons don't have dialogue like this openly, where people can chime in.
That's right.
And just discuss, because a lot of these persons that you're reaching are at home and they have no one. But you don't know what could be said in this moment that's going to have somebody, okay, let me get myself together. Exactly. I can do this. Okay, I have something to add.
And definitely, y'all like and share this video.
Okay, like and share it. I have something to add. I'm going to lose my thought.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Profound question. So I'm sorry. I know you have a list. But
no, go ahead.
Okay, great.
We go.
So what I was thinking is the feedback that I'm getting on the side from a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of, just relatively several people. They're asking about how you notice signs in their teenage girls that something may be going on when they're not outside of their normal routine. When they're not, let's all think about this, because I give an answer based on my own opinion and experience, right? But now we're having an open forum, so let's just openly put it out there. I'm talking about teenagers. The parents are reaching out saying they're straight A's, and they're athletic, and they're doing all the normal things and talking to me sort of when they get home, right? Like that on the surface talking. How do we dig without intruding and making them feel uncomfortable? How do you start conversations with your teenage and adolescent children, whether it's girls or boys, about feelings of domestic violence and experiencing it? And how do you know?
And experience an unhealthy relationship?
Yes.
Okay. So what I do is, even though I went through the training, I'm still from the hood. And you learn to pick up on things. As a mother, you know something ain't right in your spirit with your child. So I tell them, be nosy, but in a good way. Put that phone down.
I say
Turn
that
that TV off.
Put the phone down.
Tell me about your day. Let's talk. Is it anything going on? I just want to know. You just got to be nosy, but like in a good way. And trust and believe. Kids want that. They love structure.
Oh, yeah.
They want their mother and their father to reach out to them.
I say that all the time.
Want it.
They kids want structure.
They want it.
Kids want structure.
They want it.
More structure.
They want it.
I say it all the time. I know, because I'm letting them know it's serious. They need it. Listen,
we need that. They need that.
The boys that I meet with will say, you get on them about, you acting up. You've got those kids you meet with and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you acting a fool?
And you know better.
And you just have to say it. And once you give it to them, I could tell you're a little bit like that too. I can tell you're direct with the kids, and I feel you. People, don't know how to approach some people like us. But they need people who are driving that home, the structure. So what a child, several kids have told me, but one specific child, 11-year-old boy told me was, my mom doesn't make rules. And yes, and so I was kind of stunned that he knew enough to say that, like, she doesn't make rules. And my next question always to them is, well, why do you show me this level of respect, but you don't show your parent? And they say, well, usually they ask me if I'm in the military, then they tell me they might be scared of me, or we don't know what you're going to do.
And because you care.
Yes. So then they say, well, because you're always on me about it. That's the structure. That's the structure.
They love that.
Being on the kids.
They love that.
Yeah, they love it.
So
and when you're not, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But when you're not, when they are not structured, they're like Jello.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
They're like Jello. They're everywhere. But when you have this set in place, they can respect that. But when you just let them do what they want to do, what do that? What is that really about?
Why do they need to respect you?
Yeah, because I shoot straight from the hip.
No boundaries.
None. Because those streets are either going to teach your child something or let jail with. And if we can instill in them the right way to let them know there are genuine people that really care about them and know their worth, but they got to see it too. But it's up to us as adults to show them, you can do this. I believe in you.
Right.
Call them once a week. You want to go have some ice cream? You'd be surprised. One ice cream cone that I had with a little girl saved her life. She reached out to me. She said, Miss Covington, what you doing? I said, I'm doing something in the house. Okay, that's okay. I said, no, what you want? What's wrong? I just need to talk. I said, I'm on my way. And I said, let's go get some ice cream. She was quiet. You can tell the demeanor of the child.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't want to. And she was whimpering. And I didn't say nothing. I let her go ahead and get a little whimper out.
Right.
And then we pulled up at Dairy Queen. I said, what you want? She looked at me like, you going to buy this? It only takes a little thing.
Right.
I'm far from someone wealthy.
Right.
But that I have, I share. So I got her ice cream cone.
Okay, wait, Miss Covington. I know you're good at what you do because you're talking in that therapist voice. Okay? All right. Okay. Speak out what you got given.
So, yeah. Going back to what I said.
Lost track.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, you didn't need to hear it,
So, getting that ice cream cone, and I said, I'm listening whenever you're ready to talk. When you let them know that you're available to them and for them, they receive you more. Yeah. So, she said, well, Miss Covington, I said, no, you know what you can call me. You don't have, we're not even in the group. Miss Juanetta. I said, She said, I just feel like killing myself. And then immediately tears came out my eyes because I remember how I felt.
Right.
Right.
But I had nobody there. But when this baby, 13, telling me this, and I said, I'm listening. I didn't say what's wrong, what you need. I'm listening. Mm-hmm. And when you use, it's the dialogue that you use with these kids. This happened and that happened and that happened. And I said, how did that make you feel? And she said, it made me feel like I want to kill myself. And I said, so why did you reach out to me? She said, because I know you love me. That right there is why I said I'm not going to stop talking to these kids.
Right.
You know, some of these girls don't know basic life skills. They don't know to change their panties every day because they're not taught that. David and I was having a conversation about that in the parking lot. They don't know. They think wearing them 2 days is okay. No, baby.
A lot of the parents are not going over life skills.
Exactly. Right. And you think that they should know this automatically, but you have to be taught something in order to know something.
But once you come along and start teaching it, then it registers to the child. She cares and they don't.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's why they reach out to you.
And that's,
and even
I guess that's my biggest thing when you have these teens and children that come from these homes where the parents don't know, and you're trying to reinforce some things that they have no clue about. How do you get them to register or to understand what those triggers are, the things to look for, the signs to look for in their own relationships? Because they may be with a guy or a boyfriend that they feel like really, really loves them, but he is really controlling them. Or he always wants me to be around. If I don't call him or I don't text him within 30 minutes or an hour, then he's checking on me. Things like that. That's somewhat controlling, but they see it as love.
Yeah, they see it as love because they don't know how to identify.
I did in college.
Right.
I ran up quite a bill.
When you are
talking on trying to be at his beck and call for phone calls. I'm serious. What you
and you feel guilty when you're not.
I ran up an insane bill. My parents were so pissed. The money they left me with at college, I spent most of it on being attentive to the phone call. And you know that we're talking about 15, 17 years ago. We're talking about you've got a plan.
Yeah,
with
you
Sprint.
got minutes.
Sprint.
Yeah. Right.
And then you go over,
you got
and then Sprint charges you $120 to restart it in the middle of the cycle. And I did that over and over and over as a 17-year-old starting college. I was 17.
Wow.
And it never occurred to me that this didn't add up. This did not make sense to utilize the funds that I was given to survive for a certain amount of time.
Right.
Satisfy somebody.
No, because I was so controlled mentally and emotionally. All I saw was giving into the fix.
Right.
All I saw was that need to have that love. Right? Because if I don't return the call, the love goes.
And he's going to be with someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was fear.
So that's like my thing is, if that's what they know love is, how do they know when you want to have that conversation with them, just to be nosy, and you're asking these questions, and how's your relationship going, and how he treats you, and all they say, well, he treats me great, we talk all the time, you know, he buys me things, he doesn't see anyone else, he's not talking to other girls, I don't have that issue, you know, he's just always there, and we're always on the phone, and mom has to walk in there and tell her to get off the phone at night, and this, you know, just ongoing to where someone on the outside looking in and be like, okay, he's controlling that situation, or she's controlling that situation, but as a parent, if you don't know what it looks like, then how can you teach?
You have to, don't ignore the warning signs. And I always tell parents, the devil's in the details. You have to really dig in a way that you're not letting them know, okay, I don't trust you, I want to know what's going on.
Right.
You have to let them know that I love you and I care about you. And something isn't registering right with me. So we need to have a talk. Can we talk? You know, it's things like that. It's all about the verbiage you use when you talk to these kids.
It's also then about, we're telling parents to do that, but a lot of adults, as we all know, are somewhat incapable of being emotionally expressive because of their own crap that they don't go to therapy for, and then they pass these habits to their kids. So most of them, the information you're giving is so vital, but somebody's watching this thinking, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I don't talk like that. I don't say that. I mean, and I'm thinking about that now because a lot of people are not equipped.
Exactly. And then that's when I would say, well, you have to kind of pull up your
You can say it on this show.
Yeah. You have to.
I don't know why it keeps moving
you
like that.
You have to pull yourself up and say, my child's life matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
It matters to me. That's my child.
And it's more important than comfort.
Yes.
Because they're uncomfortable.
You're not there to be their friend.
You gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
We have to talk after this. I say it all the time.
Do you?
And I say it to my clients.
Yeah, you're not there to be their friend.
Right.
Mm-hmm. God gave us those children to nurture.
Oh, yeah.
Support, provide, and to care for and love. Not the, okay, we can do this and we can do that. Hang out. None of that.
Right.
Because what example are you setting for that child? And what you're doing is continuing a generational curse.
Right.
To where your child is going to do that to her child, his or her child.
Right.
And then that child's going to do it. So when are you going to stop it? When are you going to cut the cord of that?
Right.
That reminded me about that. I forgot the movie with Denzel and Viola Davis. Was it called Fences?
Oh, Fences.
What is it?
When he said
Fences.
When he was like he was having a conversation with his son, and the son was saying like he was somewhere. I guess he didn't like Dad Denzel. And he felt like he was hard on him, and he didn't love him. And he was like, I don't feel like you like me. So Denzel was like, you know, who says I have to like you?
I knew it.
Wow.
He was like, as long as I'm providing for you and loving you, that's love. I don't have to like you, you know, in order to be an effective parent. And I think that kind of, sometimes, like you said, with parents, they want to be their friend, and that's how you feel like you can get to them and allow them to express and all that good stuff. You can still be a parent, people.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
allow
and
that and allow that open forum.
I think parents are uncomfortable with feeling like their children don't like them as people. But what they need to understand is that they are not gifted to you for likability between the two of you. And when you are making this statement and then Damien saying what he has to say, I have to say, this is one of the most prominent things and statements in my life that my mother has said to me when I was younger. And I like to remind her of this, and she's always like, oh, Jackie, please. I mean, she doesn't like to own it, but she knows that she said it. And I love the fact that she did. But there was a time that I came to her about something, and I was really upset at her reaction. It wasn't emotional enough. She wasn't comforting enough about it.
Right.
And I said, is that it? Is that all you're going to say? And I remember she looked at me and very matter-of-factly said, I'm not your damn friend. I'm your mama. You've been around these little girls at your school too long, and you're absorbing their habits. But I am not here to appease you, and I am not going to sign off on this stuff you're doing because you have feelings.
Absolutely.
And I have always used that. You know, my 10-year-old, I try to watch myself because he's the sweetest kid. But at times he's like, we are best friends. And I have to shut him down so quick. And I shut him down so hard, and he's just not fazed by it. He's such a sweet kid. And he's like, Mom, you're so funny, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not your friend. Oh, yes, you are, Mommy. I mean, even at this young age, I'm really trying to groom him in, Mommy's not your friend. I'm here to make sure you do the right things. And he needs to understand that. And so I do say that all the time. I'm not your friend. And I have to tell clients. I had a client break down in a session when I told the grown woman, over 45, I'm not your friend, I'm your therapist.
Exactly.
She started crying. The next day, I came to my office at 9 a.m. and she was in the building, sitting Indian style in front of my door. And you know your clients, you don't want to give in to the temper tantrums. Oh, it was a temper tantrum by a 50-something-year-old woman. Right. So I went and opened the door. She's sitting by my feet.
Did you acknowledge? You spoke?
I opened the door and I said, hey, everything okay? And I knew she was still fuming from that comment. She was sensitive to it.
Right.
So she said, well, I want to talk to you. And I said, that's fine. She came in my office, and the first thing she said is, I don't like what you said to me yesterday.
And she thought
very in the air.
Right.
And I said, well, that's okay. And that was just my way. There's no right or wrong in therapy. I just said, I understand that that's how you feel. But what about it offsets you?
Exactly.
And her response was, I come to you and talk to you. You know these things about me. I share my most intimate feelings and thoughts with you.
Right.
And that was really rude. And I told her, I am a paid professional. You pay me not to be your friend because listening to your friends may have led you here.
Exactly.
So I am not paid by you to do that. You pay me to be your mirror.
Right.
And you don't like what you see. And after that, she kind of nodded and said, when are we going to meet next? And then she walked herself out the door with her head in the sky. But yes, I like that after that she told me I needed to hear that. Because this is a 50-something-year-old woman telling me about her and her mother's relationship.
Wow.
And about how the next session, her mother never set boundaries. Her mother was always there to whine to. Her mother appeased her. And I felt good about at least the exchange of I let her know this is the boundary.
Right.
And I'm not
and
here
you're not
for
gonna
that.
Step over.
No, not to grope your ego.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You get a lot. I mean, they don't like it initially. It stings a little bit to understand the dynamic and understand that, okay, although I'm a professional, I'm empathetic and I understand your situation and we're going to work through it together as a team, but you're not going to hit me up, after the session at 10 o'clock and be like, hey, Danny, what you doing?
Message.
Let's go hang out or, that. No, we're not doing that.
Yes.
We can be in that moment, transparent. You can be vulnerable. I'll give you. I'm not going to reciprocate my vulnerability, but at least I can be empathetic to your vulnerability and saying that it's okay for you to be vulnerable.
Okay.
But establishing boundaries is definitely important.
You have to.
Okay, so listen, in the realm of being the official timekeeper, we have 10 minutes till 7.
12,
okay, let's address this because we need a little humor break. So the last segment, as you all know, because you saw it, Damien got on me about suggesting, passing him the time, right? And then you said, what? Say it out loud. Yeah, look at your face. So you got to own that. So now I am interrupting and saying, hey, I'm keeping us on time, and you have a problem with it.
We're dialoguing, and it's very fluid right now, and people are learning.
People are learning, but we can
this is what the
continue
couch
the
is for. For people
Don't
to
worry
learn.
about us. We're doing this all the time, but I know. But you did say that last time.
Okay.
I'll let you know. Just say it out loud.
So being as though it's 6:49.
You said they can see us, Jackie. Just say it out loud. It's 6:49.
It's 6:49. So, all right, we good now. All right.
Why are you it's taunting in my face. All right, Damien.
So Ms. Juanetta, what would you say as far as I guess we're switching gears here a little bit because we can talk about this stuff all day.
Oh yeah, we should have you on again so you can come on again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you need me.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Y'all heard it first.
We'll continue the conversation. It needs to be
February is Teen Violence Awareness Month. Teen dating violence.
I need to write that down.
Yeah.
So what and this is going to be a part of the question that I was going to ask Ms. Juanetta. Me and you, we here. So what resources would you give just someone that's wanting to know some information if they're being a victim of domestic violence right now? What's kind of like your go-to resource? Also, if you have any websites and things like that, we're definitely going to post those things later on.
Yes.
As well as any upcoming events that we can definitely be involved in and the community can be involved in to kind of continue to spread awareness regarding domestic violence.
Well, on the 25th, we're having a march uptown next Tuesday.
Okay.
DV March. So, the public is welcome. I love the more there are, the more it continues to raise the attention of this horrible act.
Right.
So, strength is in numbers. So, the more people we have, the more we can try to continue to fight and make this known that we're not tolerating this anymore.
Right.
The 25th?
Yeah.
What time?
Is that a Tuesday? That's a Tuesday?
It is.
I think it's from 2 to 3.
Okay.
2:30 to 3 or somewhere.
Because we want to make sure we mention it on the page.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to send it to you. I'm sending it to you.
Okay, thank
Send
you.
me your number.
I'm adding it. Okay.
So, that, and my thing, 911. If someone is in immediate danger, don't hesitate to dial 911. If you can't speak, still dial it. They can hear what's going on in the background.
Right.
And I guarantee you, law enforcement will come to your residence.
Wow. Is it? I don't mean to cut you off, but isn't it like a universal sign that you ask for help? Let's say you're just out at the grocery store and you're with your abuser. Isn't it like a universal sign that they have
to let someone know
that you're being abused, but not bringing it up,
he can see it.
Right.
Or he can see that you're asking for help. I'm good with eye contact. Okay. And I think because I've been through it, and I've been through so much training with retired FBI agents, you just feel something.
Once somebody's looking through you, you know that they have something to say. Mm-hmm. I have heard that, like with stories on the news and things, when they interview individuals who help to save a child who may be about to be trafficked, right? Or a child who's been kidnapped. Right. The child looks at them. They don't say anything because they're standing next to the perpetrator. Right. But if you take time and actually observe people and stop looking past people, yes, then you may pick up on things like that. And the fear in a child's face is so prominent.
Yes.
A child that's being led somewhere by an adult or standing very close to one and feeling unable to break away.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. So I look at the body language. And, you know, sometimes a person can just slip a note. I actually have this stuff I'm going to leave with you, too. Okay. I call it the bathroom buddies. And so we put it on the back of the doors. So
don't bring that up.
Someone goes in a stall, they can just pull that tag down and call the number, or if they're in the stall.
Wow.
So yeah.
I have never heard of that, but what we all have probably heard of is, at least one time or another in our adult lives, a story about some child that left a note somewhere in the bathroom, and somebody saw it and called the police. So there is a special pad that you can pull off.
It's the sheet that I have is it's like this.
Yes.
But there are little slits at the bottom.
Oh, that you can snatch off. And so, are they left in? Okay, so they're in public bathrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
Because a man's not going to go in the bathroom in a public bathroom.
Shouldn't this be part of the law? Shouldn't it be?
I call it my bathroom buddy.
Okay, you know what I mean. Shouldn't it be mandated?
I think it should be in every bathroom, every stall. But then you have to look at who's going to keep it up. You know, because I put it in a bathroom.
Okay.
Right. That's not gonna.
But I live by that, because when someone is in that stall, for that moment they feel safe.
Right.
For that moment, that person is near them, they're in there. Sometimes they're just in there to sit down and cry. But then if they look up and see this number,
they see there's an outlet.
And you know, when I talk to ladies and they said, "What do I do to leave? What do I do to leave?" I said, "Don't let them know you leave.
Make a plan.
Do not let him know or her know that you're leaving. Get you a safety plan in motion. Pack your bag. Get your ID, your social, your birth certificate, change of clothes, monies, bank statements, everything. You put that bag somewhere that you know that he or she won't look for it. And when you leave with that. And you make sure you have enough of that in that bag. Because what you don't want to do I would suggest is going back. Because when you go back after you've left,
that's it.
All the power and control is gone. And then when you go back, you back.
Right.
So I'm going to teach you not to do it again. So that's what domestic violence is. It's all about power and control. So, you know, when you are manipulating someone and you're doing this and you're doing that, when you leave, that person's mind is like, I'm going to get her, I'm going to get him. Yeah. And that's why I tell people, I say, the reason why you have death by suicide is because what he actually does, or she actually does, is she will kill that child, or he will kill the child in front of the mother. And that's the worst thing you can do to a mother, is to hurt her child. We don't even like to hear they have a cold.
Yes.
Let alone you killed my child. And then he will kill her, and then he will kill himself. And the reason he would kill himself later is because all power and control, he still had it because he killed everybody else.
Right. It's no longer there.
And even like in the workplace, you have to be cautious. Because they will come in, and when their mind is set in motion, I'm going to kill you, they don't care who's around. And what he or she may do is eventually end up killing some of her co-workers and letting her live so she can live with the guilt. You made me do this.
Let me say this. While you are saying that, something's registering to me that I haven't thought about in years. But one of my brothers had a very good friend that we all went to school with, and some of the only black kids at the school that we all went to for elementary school. So the kid was at our house a lot, and we were at his house a lot, me and my brother. And the parents were very well known, and most of the viewers who I grew up with already know who I'm talking about. And they were well-known professionals, black professionals. And basically one day we came home and there was a message on the answering machine from the child. My father killed my mother. And I just remember after that my parents everybody scattered. And they went to the house, I believe, with my brother. And I stayed with someone else for several hours. And they were never married, but they lived together for many years. And it turned out that there was a history there that no one knew about. And the boy was an only child. We're still friends now, but basically his father did kill his mother and then killed himself. And it was a very well-known case where I'm from in Chicago. Yeah. It was all over the place.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm just visualizing that situation. I was very young, but while you're speaking, I remember that we didn't notice any signs. I was sleeping over that house in group sleepovers, and she was cooking breakfast, and nothing was noticeable to me. And then, as a child, we're in a child's mind. So a lot of things we're taught not to pay attention to. So
we were taught
there was that.
Place.
Yes, but not only did he do that, he chased her to a neighbor's house and killed her on someone's doorstep in our neighborhood.
Wow.
So it was just got very violent. So I believe, of course, that earlier years there were probably many signs which were ignored. There was a child,
and that wasn't
the
first time the abuse took place.
Absolutely. So I don't know. That's the only firsthand, very close experience I had to someone where the trauma actually took place.
And that child will never forget it.
Oh no.
Wow.
You know,
and that's that power. Even when an abuser does that and they commit suicide, their last thought is like, I'm still in control.
I'm taking by the reins.
Exactly. I've definitely not personally experienced that, but by friends and colleagues, they were a couple together for a long time, like off and on, maybe like 7-8 years, something like that.
They were dating.
Planning on getting married, but I think she ended the relationship because he was aggressive. He was dealing with his own mental health issues, depression, and I think it was bipolar or something like that. But early on, when I first moved to Charlotte, that situation happened, and she broke it off with him. Left. She was gone for like a week, and then he kept calling. She wouldn't answer, and then what he did was he called her, and she finally picked up. And the last words he said was, "You made me do this," and then killed himself in the apartment.
Ooh, he set that up on purpose.
Yes. Oh, he waited for her to pick up the phone.
To damage her mentally,
make her feel like.
And I think to this day she's still
dealing with that guilt.
Still stuck with it.
Wow.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was kind of heavy to end on that.
Right on time.
But it is?
Look at that. It's right on time. I got to
But I just want to leave the domestic violence number, the hotline.
Oh, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Let them know.
1-800-799-SAFE. Here again, the number is 1-800-799-SAFE. So if you really want to speak with someone 24 hours, they're available. So you can just reach out to them and just make sure that you keep yourself safe. You know, domestic violence is evil, and it's a cowardly act.
Right.
And the outcome of when you leaving, and if you let that individual know you're leaving, the likelihood of you being murdered is 100 times % greater.
Wow.
So just keep that in mind. If you let them know that you're leaving, the likelihood of you losing your life is greater at that point because they've lost all power and control.
Wow. Okay. Well, definitely, Miss Juanetta, I appreciate it. We appreciate you coming on the couch. I feel
like I need to go to church.
You know?
I really feel moved right now. Like, I don't want to get out of my seat.
Right.
I just feel I feel weighted. Like, I feel... This is so sad. I just, because we
it's
usually...
sad, but it's empowering.
Oh, I know, but I feel like I'm about to cry. It's so sad.
Okay to be vulnerable.
I know. I feel, you know what I'm thinking? What kids and adults do we help that are going through this and still don't feel comfortable, even in therapy, exposing it? Because of fear of who will find out, what will happen, and all of that. I mean, as therapists, we don't start the session with, here is the domestic violence hotline number, and do you need to talk to me about being abused?
Right.
That's not how it flows.
Here. Yeah, and there's Hero is for kids that's 2 to 18 and have witnessed domestic violence.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah,
and I'm gonna keep this in my
office. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely post this.
This.
I'm gonna post this information on page. Miss Covington's information as well. You can reach out to her if you have questions in regards to domestic violence, or you think your child is going through a domestic violence situation. You know, she's definitely a huge advocate and person in this particular field. So again, thank you for coming on the couch.
Thank you so much.
We enjoyed it. You know, it was kind of heavy, but of course we do it in the couch style that you know that we do. We try to keep it kind of cool and collected in here.
I think within the next 2 months, we should just have you back. We need to do a follow-up and maybe revisit some of the questions that we didn't get to. This was a very important conversation.
Yes.
So however it flows when you come back is still going to be necessary. And then we will have you back in February.
Yes.
To talk about teen dating violence.
Yes. Absolutely. So definitely follow us. Do you have any contact information? Where can they follow you? Programs, organizations, all of that good stuff. You can put that out there as well.
I do have my own business. It's called, the name of it is Because Your Tears Matter. God gave me that name and told me every time that I speak, when I'm speaking, whether it's with the kids in the church, outside in the community, to let them know that their tears still matter to Him. My number, you can reach me at is 70. I'm sorry.
Wait, I needed 2. Okay, 424.
Yeah. 288. What's wrong? 704.
Okay, it's so heated in here. It's hot in here too.
704. Good gracious, what is one? Is that a good thing or is it?
We do that a lot.
424-288. Okay. Can you tell her phone number?
Yes.
I'm gonna give you 1091. Is that what's on mine?
424-288-1391.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll post it. We're going to post it.
Yeah, we'll post it.
424-288-1391.
Yes.
Yeah.
So make sure if you got any questions, anything.
And I'm all on Facebook.
Yes.
So that's another. Do they need that?
Okay.
What is it? Juanetta? Juanetta Covington, isn't it?
Yes. I think it is. Yeah. Juanetta Covington. You can search her.
Okay.
Ask her anything that you would like in regards to domestic violence. As well, you can also contact us on the Couch 704 on Facebook, Instagram at the Couch 704, as well as you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel because you will get this information. And matter of fact, I may upload it to YouTube tonight. All this information regarding domestic violence will be on our YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. It's always up the night after our live.
I don't appreciate your pointing finger. I feel like it's in my direction. That's how I feel.
It's always up, people.
Okay, the Couch 704 on YouTube.
On all the platforms. It's
and
the Couch
Instagram, the Couch 704.
Yes, please follow us, like the page, all that good stuff.
Please make sure to share this segment. Please share it multiple. Excuse me.
She
that's
was
all right.
giving the correct
I just want
number.
the people to hear me. Share this segment multiple times on your pages because it's going to reach someone who needs it.
Yes.
It's going to reach someone who's going to reach someone who needs it. So
absolutely.
I just wanted to say that. But thank you so much
for coming. If it's not for you,
coming.
definitely share it with everyone.
Right.
Various platforms. Again, Miss Juanetta's number is 424-288-1081. She had that right. I was wrong.
I'm just looking. Your hands are dancing. They always do.
They always
I'm
do.
distracted.
You already know that. Like, this is what I do.
I want to be in therapy with Damien. So I can be like, oh, really? I'm sure you're like, look, all the time. He talks with his hands.
That's what I do.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for tuning in.
Again, check us out next week on the Couch, Wednesday, 6
o'clock.
Also, check us out on the TuneIn app. TuneIn Radio, Power 104.4.
Oh, yes.
On Mondays from 2 o'clock p.m. to 3 p.m.
Tell them what they need to do to get the app. Like, they need to...
Download the app. Go to your Google Play Store. Type in TuneIn Radio. And then you just download the app. And then you can search the app and just put in Power 104.4.
Okay, Power 104.4.
And now pull up the radio station. It has all your favorite... hip-hop and R&B is more R&B than it is hip-hop. So definitely check that out. Tune in You know, we have different VJs and DJs and on that particular
2 o'clock on Mondays.
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Okay.
Check us out if you miss this live or you want to listen to it while you're at your desk and you can't be on your phone. You know, you can just download the app and act like you're listening to the radio.
If you want to listen to it while you're supposed to be working, that's what you do.
2 to 3. You should be working.
Let's call it what it is.
You should be doing some things.
Okay? But this is important, so that's great.
We're there. We're on all different platforms. Check us out. Right. Download the app. Spread this. Share this. You know, each one, reach one, teach one. All that good stuff. That was a new one.
Thank you for tuning in. Thanks. See you next week.
All right, y'all. Have a good one here on the couch.